Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the demographic crisis unfolding in China. This is a story that started decades ago with the one-child policy, but now it's a challenge unlike anything the country has ever faced. We're talking empty streets, shrinking families, and a whole generation questioning the very foundations of their society.
This is the kind of question you hear people asking on the ground. It's this feeling you get in cities of over 8 million people, where the streets can feel just eerily empty. Restaurants that used to have hour-long waits are now quiet. It's this tangible sense that something fundamental is changing. So to really understand why, you have to start with this staggering number. The number of newborns in China this year is projected to fall below 8 million. Now, this isn't just a little dip, this is a demographic cliff.
But what's truly mind-blowing is just the sheer speed of this decline. I mean, look at this. We're talking about a drop from nearly 18 million newborns back in 2016 to what could be under 8 million this year. That's a collapse of over 50% in less than a decade. It's a pace that is absolutely shocking demographers around the world.
Right, so this isn't just some abstract number on a chart. It has real, tangible consequences that are already rippling through the country, from the cradle all the way to the classroom.
The entire ecosystem that's built around having children is contracting fast. Hospital maternity wards that were once so packed you had to book a bed months in advance, now they're deserted. Postnatal care centers, these places are offering huge discounts and they're still shutting their doors.
And this shows you the long-term ripple effect perfectly. We're seeing elementary schools being merged or just shut down completely. According to some reports, the number of primary schools has been slashed by more than half in recent years. Why? Because an entire generation just isn't there to fill the desks.
So the big question is, why is this happening? Well, this decline isn't an accident. For a whole lot of young Chinese people, choosing not to have kids is actually a very rational response to some immense and frankly often impossible financial pressure. Get this, $100,000. That's the estimated average cost just to raise one child to the age of 18 in China. And if you're in a big city like Shanghai or Beijing, you can easily double that figure. When you're staring down that kind of number, having a child starts to feel less like a milestone and more like a luxury item you just can't afford.
This quote from a young man really gets to the heart of it all. It's not about a lack of desire or a rejection of family. It's about a really deep-seated fear of economic insecurity, of simply not being able to provide.
And when you look at a real-world budget, the problem becomes crystal clear. For a couple with a pretty modest combined income, the cost of baby formula alone can eat up 10% of their take-home pay. You add in the other basic costs, and suddenly a quarter of their income is gone before they even think about rent or saving for a home. For millions of people, the math just doesn't work.
And okay, beyond just the economics, there's a huge social crisis brewing. Because even before a child enters the picture, the whole institution of marriage itself is facing enormous strain.
300 million. That is the estimated number of single people in China. To put that into perspective for you, that's roughly the entire population of the United States. A kingdom of singles is, well, it's emerging. And this creates what some are calling an invisible wall, separating two completely different realities. Out in the rural areas, you've got men facing this immense pressure to provide a house, a car, and a huge bride price, all while making pretty stagnant wages. Meanwhile, in the cities, you have this growing number of well-educated, financially independent women with high standards, and they're often choosing a high-freedom lifestyle over settling for a partner who just doesn't meet their criteria.
And this plea from a young man in a rural area, it just shows how transactional marriage has become. For him, and millions like him, marriage isn't a partnership. It's a luxury product with a price tag he simply can't afford. It leaves him feeling like he's lost before the race has even begun.
So you put it all together, a collapsing birth rate, a fractured marriage market, and what you get is a demographic time bomb. It's setting the stage for a massive, massive long-term problem. Just look at this projection. Today, more than 1 in 5 people in China is over the age of 60. By 2030, and that is just a few years away, that number is expected to jump to nearly 1 in 3. It's the classic dilemma. China is getting old before it gets rich, and it's happening at an incredible speed. And this, of course, creates a looming pension crisis. With fewer young people coming into the workforce, you have fewer workers paying into a system that has to support a rapidly growing number of retirees. The funds are projected to run dry, the retirement age is getting pushed back, and that burden, it falls right back onto the shoulders of their children, the very same generation that's already stretched too thin to start families of their own. And this really is the ultimate question.
When young people feel completely crushed by the cost of living, healthcare, and taking care of their elders, having children feels less like a natural step and more like an impossible burden. It poses this fundamental challenge to the country's future. If a system can't provide security for today, how can it possibly expect its youth to invest in tomorrow?